As essentially when Gerard's organization popped up on our radar on social media, we sort of kind of began to look into this idea of like civil society. And by definition, civil society can be understood as a third sector of the economy, distinct from business and government, which includes the family and the private sphere. And like essentially, if you think about it, majority of our societies are essentially here in the developed world have focused on NGOs and charities,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess now we're seeing this sort of movement, as you've mentioned, the popularity of this young entrepreneurial led, like from an entrepreneurial perspective, rather than like a simple NGO or a simple charity, because these
Mm-hmm.
conventional charities, whether they be religious or secular or whatever the case may be, have been sort of the very traditional standard model. Essentially, you would have
Yeah.
people crowdfunding or certain people donating a particular amount of money,
Yeah.
and if they do that, then your society, your charity can stay afloat, your food bank or whatever, your clothing drive can stay
Mm-hmm.
afloat. And if they don't, well, then I mean, you're kind of stuck for that month. Versus, I think what we're seeing right now in terms of civil society and its importance mixed with social entrepreneurship per se, because it's a sort of new kind of take on changing the conventional norms of how we do charities and how we actually fundraise for a particular issue. Um, I think that's what we are trying to hit home here with regards to From the Park. So, in terms of From the Park, what was the initial motivation? Like, why did you start the actual organization? Like, what did, like, essentially, if I'm not mistaken, From the Park focuses on violence and essentially unrest within the city of Toronto in particular as a
Yep.
microcosm. And then sort of eventually, as we'll talk about later, would want to expand in different areas. But what was your initial motivation besides the whole 2020 hype, whereby we wanted to do something? Was there a particular set of events that kind of were set in stone?
Well, to be honest, out of high school, I just seen a lot of things change where I live. I seen a lot of people, just everything after high school is what led up to From the Park. And over this past summer, I was into photography for a little bit. And this essentially started off as a photography venture. Like I wanted to do something with it was shoot from the park initially, and I wanted to do something with photography. And it was very crazy. I was at a hat store one day. I was getting a custom hat, and I told him to print out shoot from the park on the hat. So as I was getting it stitched, I'm just there looking at the text, and then shoot from the park. Like it just didn't sit right on the hat for me, and I just cut out the shoot from it, and then it was like from the park, and it just like looked so much better to me. And I was just alone that day, like just doing my regular errands and whatnot, and I just started getting into like brainstorming to myself, like from the park. It just kept coming back to me, and I started this whole idea where I would put this on a merchandise piece, any item, shirt, hoodie, whatnot, and I want to sell this to raise money for my community and other communities around the city of Toronto. And I essentially wanted it to be a lifestyle brand at the same time that I want people to wear from the park as anything else, like as they would wear a Nike hoodie or Adidas hoodie. But at the same time, I want all the profits to be donated to a good cause, to a program that helps the youth in any type of community, any type of situation, you know, get out of that whole bubble that they're stuck in, and essentially make things better for them. If selling a hoodie that I get, helps one person, stay off the streets, help a kid stay away from street violence, gang violence, or whatever it might be, I feel like, that's I've accomplished my whole mission. So that was where the idea came from. And then I just really got into it with a friend of mine. And I'm like, I want to set this up. I got a whole logo design ready and everything. And I just started working on it. And I didn't have any funds from the government or any other organization. So everything was funded out of my own pocket. So I just go place an order for a bunch of hoodies, and then I get them printed. And then there were some hiccups in the middle, but you know, thank God when I put it out, I had a very good initial response from like the people that choose to follow me. And I did not think it would be that busy, but it got really busy for me. I was the only one handling the whole social media account and everything, taking all the orders, and it was very messy. And then that was the idea behind it. And I just wanted to do this because I've seen a lot of people, just where I live, I've seen a lot of people, pass away. I've had a close friend of mine pass away due to whatever it might be. And then, I just felt like I want to do something better for my community because I don't want to see anyone else have to go through what I've been through. Seeing the things I saw, I don't think anyone, really deserves to go through that. And if I can do something for my, anything that I can do to help, I'm willing to do it. And that was the whole idea behind From the Park. And, that's that.
And I wanted to talk about like clothing. Like, what made you think of selling clothing as a way of raising funds?
Well, because I wanted this to be a lifestyle thing too. Like, I want people to wear this and be like, "Oh, you have the From the Park hoodie," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's that." And I wanted it to be like that. And I chose clothing because it could be represented as a campaign. It could be a form of show a form of solidarity. It just like From the Park, and From the Park just doesn't just like represent Thorncliffe Park or Flemington Park. I chose the word park just because I wanted this to be like how I see the word park. The park is a place where everyone can come together. Everyone can come together for an event. You see like people hosting these little small festival carnivals. They usually host it in a park. So I just thought about the park as a way, as a place where people can come together. That's why I said From the Park. And, this is why, I just chose clothing because personally I'm into clothing, I like to keep up with whatever. So I did this because I wanted everyone to have that symbol on their chest, and that's why I chose like hoodies. And I want to get into more things,